Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast with Joshua Latimer, where we discuss business, life, family, faith, struggle, fire, pain, and ultimately winning.
It's time to take massive action. Look, I can't work harder on your life or business than you do. It's ultimately all on you.
You know, God created all the food the birds would ever need, but he doesn't put it in their nest. You've got to go get it.
10 out of 10 people die. So how about doing something today that actually matters while you still can?
Hey, my friends, Josh here. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Quick Talk Podcast. I had a couple questions for you guys, and I was thinking about some things. So I took this personality profile assessment. You've probably heard of Myers-Briggs, which I don't know anything about that one. And there's another one called DISC, right? That's very widely known. There's another one I've done in the past called Strengths Finder. That one was amazing. And you can use these personality assessments like on yourself or with your spouse or in your business. And you can have your employees take them. And the benefit of it, some people don't like them because they think, well, you can't summarize who a person is just by looking at a PDF document that's generated from this weird test. And that's true, but I'll tell you what, they get really close. They really can pin you down. You'd be shocked. And there's actually a free one if you want to check it out. You can go to Tony Robbins' website or just Google Tony Robbins DISC assessment. And there's a link. I forget the exact URL, but you can take it. And his has a two-part thing with it. It's a DISC assessment. And then you log into your Tony Robbins account and take the second part, and it's called a values assessment. Very, very, very interesting. It only takes 10 minutes to do it. It's super easy. It's free. So I would go do that just to check it out. But what's really interesting is you can tell people are different. We already know that, right? But every person, even though they're different, has particular strengths. And they have different ways that they recharge and different ways that they learn, different ways that they respond to stress and 100 other categories. And it's really interesting. It's valuable, right? So you're trying to lead your team. And the reason I bring that up is to say this. I had a coaching call this morning with someone in my boot camp named Greg. What's up, Greg, if you're listening? And he didn't ask this specific question, but it came up where I just told him, I said, one of the common things that I notice among the most successful service company owners that I know, because I know so many now, so many multi-million-dollar, owners, founders, whatever. I think it comes down to this one thing, and there's lots of things, but this to me is one of the big ones, and it's urgency. They have a massive sense of urgency. And when I thought of that later, when I was going to make this podcast, it reminded me of the DISC assessment because I don't know if I'll put it out there publicly, but I have a very peculiar DISC assessment, right? I'm a super high D, which is, someone that's a driver, decisive, I'm going. And one of the characteristics of someone like me is that I'm extremely urgent all the time. Everything has to be done really fast. If you're an entrepreneur like me, you're going to relate completely. It's everything is hurry up, we got to get it done. When's it going to be done? When's the deadline? Let's do it. I move quick. But when I look at the Brandon Vaughns of the world, Lisa McQueen's, the Mike Kaplan's, and a million other people, they have a sense of urgency. So the question to you is this: do you operate your business with a sense of urgency? Because in Greg's case, he wanted to build a business over the next 11 years. It's a pretty long window so that he could sell it for retirement. And so I asked him, how much do you want to sell it for? And he said, $500,000. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, the business needs to be about this size. You need to have this much in earnings. It needs to be automated. You need to be totally systemized out. You're going to need a middle layer of leaders in your company. And you're going to have all of your systems and SOPs and all that stuff done well in advance. And the company will have to be, doing X amount in revenue. And we talked about that. But the thing is whatever you want for your business, whether it's to sell it or build it so it could be sold just so that it's automated and a nice little asset for you, we need to have a definitive future date when you're going to have that achieved by. And I think people do goal setting. I ask people, do you have goals? And they say, yeah. And I ask them, and it's very, very murky. It's very vague. They're like, well, I want to build $1 million business. Well, okay. Like, that's not a goal. That's just a dream. That's just you saying a sentence. A goal is something that is a definitive, predetermined destination that you're going to chart a course towards. And then you're going to measure your progress. Imagine if you live in Michigan and you're driving to Florida. That's a really long ways. You're going to periodically check your map as you're going to make sure that you're on the right track. And the same is true with your business. And understanding your personality type is a piece of that, and living with a sense of urgency is another big piece of that. And honestly, it's easier to have a sense of urgency when you have a goal right in front of you to chase all the time. I also have a guy in my mastermind group who's amazing, and he has a service company. And I've been pushing him on his goal setting, like, hey, don't take the easy way out. Don't take the small goal. Go for the stretch goal, or some people call it the BHAG. BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. It's from a book somewhere. I forget where it came from. But the reason that that's beneficial is it forces you to problem solve. It forces you to strategize, put in tactics. It forces you to take risks and to try new things and to step outside your comfort zone and to have a sense of urgency, because you are clawing, trying to find a way to hit this goal for this month or for this quarter or for this year. And those monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals need to be in exact alignment with that, end destination. You want to sell a business for $500,000? Well, that means certain things, right? If you're going to sell it for a multiple of 4, you got to have a pretty nice automated, systemized business that doesn't require you very much at all, if at all, that produces around $125,000 in earnings. And not to get too technical, but this is helpful for a lot of you. Your business needs to generate a bunch of revenue, pay all the employees, pay all of the leaders, pay all of the taxes, expenses, fuels, overhead, fixed, all the stuff, right? After everything's paid, including yourself, for any work that you do in your business. Hey, I just said do. Okay, now I'm getting distracted. After everything's paid, if there's $125,000 left of free cash flow, just net profit after everything, yeah, you could sell your business for $500,000. You could sell it for more, you could sell it for less. It just depends on the buyer, on the market, on how it's positioned, the brand, how loyal your customers are, what type of accounts you have. There are other variables, but knowing that can give you a destination. Like, if you want to do that within the next 3 years and you are just starting your business today, okay, cool. Well, what's it going to take? And how much revenue is it going to take? And how many employees are going to need to operate inside of that company within 3 years from today for us to produce, $750,000 of revenue and have it fully automated and have all these middle managers making great salaries and have good perks and benefits for employees and everybody getting paid and everybody's happy and the culture's strong and your clients love you and you have good retention and all your systems are in place. And after everybody's paid, there's $125,000 left over. Bam, now you can sell that thing. I think that's pretty cool. But if you're not looking at it this way, it's not a goal at all. And it'll just kind of, time will come and go and it'll pass you by. And a lot of the people I've worked with, they've just been doing the same thing for so long, like for so long. I heard a quote from a guy in the inner circle named Myron Golden, and he talked about how people will work very hard to continue doing the same things that are already not working. I think that is profound because I see people do it all the time. And it's like we're so scared to go for it that we'll just keep doing the same thing. But then as a way to medicate ourselves spiritually and emotionally, we still have these goals in our head that we kind of keep like a little pet, and it's like a little teddy bear you can hug and be like, oh, yeah. No, I'm doing this so I can sell a business for $1 million someday. Oh, no, I'm doing this because I'm going to, have 3 locations. I'm going to, go into ministry for 6 months out of the year. Whatever your goal is, if it's not definitive and specific and razor sharp, if there's not a date attached to it, then it's not a goal in the first place. And if you don't reverse engineer back from that future day to today and put the processes, the strategies, and the tactics in place to give yourself a fair chance to get there, then it's most absolutely not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, guys. And the other big thing that you'll learn, like we have this live event coming up. I'm really excited. October 22nd through the 28th, we have 2 different groups of people with everybody and the guests that they bring and all the staff and the mentors I'm flying in and stuff. We're going to have like 90 people like at our house. It's going to be crazy. Like not all at one time. It'll be half of it the first group, half of it the next group. And one of the things I'm excited for people to learn that are struggling with belief is that all these people that have $7 million businesses, and Michael Kaplan has a $20 million business. That's crazy, right? They're just people. And when you hang out with them, you quickly realize, okay, yes, they're sharp. They've done some deep work. They know things, but like you could totally learn those same things, right? It's not exclusive to them. Like education, information, even this podcast, like it's out there, right? So if you need to learn how to grow by acquiring companies, like you can learn how to do that. It's just a process. There's just knowledge you need to get into your brain. You put the work in, you got it. But what you'll understand is they're just people. So what's the difference? What's the difference between the person who's terrified to hire their first employee and they've been doing something for 8 years and they're not growing because they won't hire, and someone like Kaplan, who's, I think his business is only like 10 years old, right around there, or even Brandon Vaughn in 4 seasons went from 100,000 to over $1 million, or Michael Dahlke, who bought a business that did 60,000 in revenue, and then like 4 or 5 years later, they're doing like 7 million and they're in 5 states because he's acquiring all these companies. What's the difference between those people and you? Not as much as you think. Not as much as you think. And I say that as an encouragement, okay? Because you do have what it takes. You are so capable, so much more capable than you think you are. But you have to have a sense of urgency. You have to have a clear destination. You have to hustle and work with that in mind. And I guess I'll close out with a couple more thoughts about hustle. You see these memes on Facebook where they're like, hustle, get up, get your grind, 4 a.m. hustle and all that stuff. And that's great. That's fine. The Gary Vee stuff and, I don't know, Grant Cardone or whoever else is a big hustle person. Hustle's cool and everything, but really it's about hustling on the correct things in the correct order. And you could work super hard and pick vegetables for a farm, right? A lot of migrant workers live up in Ludington, where we bought our new home in northern Michigan, and they hustle. They work their butts off. I see them out there every day, whether it's a pumpkin patch this time of year or it's the asparagus fields. They're grinding and hustling, but guess what? They're not going to make any money. They can't make money, okay, because they're not working hard on the right things as if they wanted to make money. And they just don't know because they don't know. But you know what? You do know. You're listening to this right now. This is a gift to even hear information like this. This is a huge deal, but you have to put it into practice. You have to execute and implement and all those things. But all of that starts with belief. And if you don't believe you can do it, you're done before you started. If you don't believe that you have the potential to have that $1 million business or whatever it is that you want, and you don't have to want that, whatever it is that you do want, if you don't believe that it's possible, then it's over, right? So how do we change belief? Well, I think one of the ways that we're going to do at this event is just by getting in a room with people who are stuck and scared and freaked out and don't know what to do and are confused and maybe don't have clarity, and getting those people around people who are absolutely dominating and killing it at the highest level in this industry, and letting them hang out and talk and exchange ideas. Because I think once the transfer of belief is complete, once the person believes and says, this is real, oh my gosh, like I finally get it. Like, these people are exactly like me, but they're like 5 times bigger business than me, and they have more profitability, and they're in control, and they get to go on vacation, and they don't fight with their wife all the time. Like, oh my gosh, you can have your cake and eat it too. It's real. It's real. It's real. Once you believe that, now you're free. You're free to get that goal, to get the strategies, to get the clarity on the tactics and the steps. You're free to ask for help. You're free to take risks because you know that the just universal principles of business and the world will give you what you want if you follow the right process. Okay? Hopefully that added some value to you. I appreciate all of you. If you want to hang out with me, why don't you go over to thegrowthvault.com. It's a free online website with trainings, webinars, teachings, things where I go deep and help teach you how to automate and grow your service company. Or you can join the Facebook group. Just search for The Growth Vault. And we also are going to be starting a YouTube channel here. Not anything magical happening there yet, but there will be. So hop on over there and subscribe. I will see you guys. Take care. God bless. Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.